Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soul-Centered CEO Show. I'm so excited to be back this week and also to be with my special guest, Danielle Laura. Welcome, Danielle, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. So I do want to share a little bit about your background, just so that way the listeners know just kind of your history and kind of what you're up to in the world. You are a two-time #1 bestselling and award-winning author, advisor, energetics, and relationship expert, and the founder of the H.O.T method, H.O.T, which we need to dive into a little bit too. Want to hear more about that? In your private work, guiding thought leaders, celebrities, and power couples around the globe in igniting their innate gifting so they can master their mission, amplify impact, and experience deep connection and fulfillment. What a beautiful work in the world. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So beautiful. You are a recognized authority on relationships, alternative healing, self-mastery. You have been featured in over 30 international publications and podcasts. We're so excited to have you with us today. And let's just go ahead and dive right in, because there's just so much good stuff that you are doing, and I want to hear all about it. So Danielle, do you want to start with maybe a little bit about your story? Because I always think it's inspiring to hear, for me, when people have created such a beautiful soul aligned and soul centered, not only business, but really life, right?
Yeah.
It's always interesting, I think, to hear how you got there, because it's usually an interesting path and journey. And usually there's a story to tell there. So do you want to take a minute just to share with us kind of how you came to create this particular business, what experiences that you had to go through, and anything that you feel would be a benefit for maybe people that are kind of on a similar journey?
Yes, thank you. I would love to share. So basically, since I was a little girl, I felt a calling to the healing profession, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. I felt really from a young age, like the toddler, that I wanted to be a doctor or like heal the world or whatever. And so I went the traditional Western medicine path. My mom was a nurse, and so all that I knew was like going into Western medicine. So I went through, worked my way through corporate medicine as a nurse, then got my master's in counseling, did clinical therapy at the hospital, as well as family and marriage therapy at a private practice. Got very disillusioned. Basically, my program got cut at the hospital. I had created a program for kids with cancer and their families, and it got cut because it didn't make the hospital money. And so I went into this like passionate kind of righteous anger, because I'm like, what the heck are we doing here if we are not providing actual quality of patient care to people who need this? So I went on this spree of applying to every medical executive position I possibly could in the entire United States. I was like, I'm going to move anywhere. I don't care. I'm going to get in. I'm going to make a change. And granted, mind you, I didn't have any executive experience at this point. I was a nurse. I was a clinical counselor, but I was like, I'm going to make this happen. And by the grace of God, I did. I ended up getting a position as a CEO of a medical center, and was able to make some really beautiful change at a local level, but became very quickly disillusioned again, being on the administrative side, the business side of medicine, and seeing things as they really were. So having been at every side of the medical field, from like, on the front lines as a clinician, and then all the way up making decisions, this disillusionment continued to set in of, I want to make a greater difference than what I feel limited to in this capacity. And I want to really change the world beyond what I feel like I can do here. So basically it sent me into this deep spiritual awakening, we want to call it that, because that's really what it is, where I started basically questioning everything in my life, why I was even in the position that I was, basically coming to the conclusion that I really lived my life for everyone else, and done what I thought I should do to be the achiever and to make everyone happy and to impact the world, but I was miserable inside. And I remember, I had everything most people would want at a young age. I was only 26 at the time, and, was married, had the, great job, the benefits, the car, the home, the everything. All the things that they say, make you happy and fulfilled. But yet, like, every day my soul felt like it was dying going in to work, right? So went through the spiritual awakening, really uncovered my actual purpose, stripped away all the layers of pleasing and woulds and shoulds that I had lived my whole life and had been conditioned to. and really became obsessed with the study of energetics and a different way beyond Western medicine and all of this empirical data and things that I'd studied my whole life. It continually failed me. I was sick all the time. I didn't know what was going on. I had all these somatic issues, and I had no idea that this whole time was because I've been a healer my whole life, right? And an intuitive. And I didn't know that I was taking on all of this energy from other people. So anyway, became obsessed with energetics, started mastering it for myself. Long story short, ended up leaving corporate 4 years ago, starting my own business. And then it's evolved over the past several years into really helping, industry leaders, people that feel they're a change maker at their core, and the power couples that want to make a difference in this world, master that connection for themselves between their energetics, their spiritual gifting, and their relationships. So
Mm,
they can really experience that sovereign success and deep fulfillment
mm.
without compromising on either.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. It's so interesting too. So this is the first time I'm hearing your whole story, right? Which is super fun.
Yeah.
Um, and how interesting the similarity between our stories, right? Because I did the whole corporate path too, right? And you're taught this is what you do. You get married, you buy the house, you get the great job,
Yeah.
you get, you work your way up. And I think what's so fascinating, I'm sure that there are people that are listening to this that can resonate, that it is really a moment of almost despair, kind of, when you realize you've done all the things that you thought you were supposed to do, and you're like, oh, this is it? I'm miserable.
Yes.
Wow. Now
Yes.
what? Right. And I think
Exactly.
people talk a lot about, that midlife crisis. And I'm just like, well, or you just midlife opportunity to like
Yeah.
redirect and course correct and really step into what you truly were meant to do and born to do. Right. So I think
Yeah.
how lovely that if there are those that are in that space right now, I would just say the sooner you can have that moment of truth and course correct, the better, right? Instead of continuing down that path for years and years. Because I think so for so many people, they never give themselves permission to step out, right?
Yeah.
They never say, wow, I don't have to do all of these things that I've been taught and told. There is another way. And so I think what's
Yeah.
beautiful is the work that you're doing is you're helping others pave the way to find that within their own life and in their own work. And what a blessing that is.
Yes.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Do you want to share a little bit about the HOT method? Because I don't know about that yet.
Yes, absolutely. So the HOT method, HOT stands for honest, open, transparent,
Okay.
and it correlates to the mind, body, and spirit. And
Mm,
so I'm a firm believer from my whole life, right, in the lives of my clients, that until we can become honest, open, and transparent with ourselves,
mm,
connect our mind, body, and our spirit in one of who we really are and what we really want, what we're here for.
mm.
If we're not doing that, then we're never going to have, do, and be what we're meant for.
Right.
So going into every part of you and getting really, I mean, stripping yourself down of all the conditioning. If you've never learned any of this, if you were never, for example, for me, I was like, if I wasn't Danielle, the achiever, if I wasn't Danielle, the successful change maker, who would I be? Who is just Danielle apart from this identity of my purpose?
Right.
Right. And that held such a tight grip on me, this identity of who I had to be each day.
Mm,
That is so freeing, right? That's when you can really come into the deep level of connection, not only within the fulfillment of yourself and feeling that fulfillment each day, but in your relationships. When you
right.
can be vulnerable and hold that sacred space for yourself and see yourself and
Mm,
allow others to see you, how much richer your life becomes and how much greater that depth of connection becomes. And I believe that at our core, we all desire connection.
oh, for
I
sure.
think,
Absolutely.
two values I think we all have in common is the desire for connection and the desire for freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And the
yeah,
combination with what you're teaching truly leads to what I would call liberation, right? The
yes,
freedom of being who you are and speaking your truth and knowing that you will be
yeah,
seen and known and loved no matter what. Like that to me is the ultimate experience that we all want to have, right? And
yes,
how lovely that you're helping couples get through the other, let's just say that, right?
yes,
Things that keep them apart from each other, right? And I
yeah,
think the more that we can learn, and the reality is we're not taught these things in school. We're not taught,
right,
well, there's so much we're not taught. but that's probably another episode.
Right.
Specifically around relationship, it's like, we're not taught to be honest enough with ourselves, and we're not taught to speak our truth, right? We're taught to hide and to feel ashamed of our desires, or like all these things that are so normal, right? So you're really going against the cultural norm and societal norms, and you're trying to help people like, no, you can actually get there. You just need the skills and the tools to do it. So what a gift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that in your work with your clients, those couples are like, holy cow, we never knew that this was possible for us. Is that probably the experience, like in general?
Yes, absolutely. And, not every couple that I work with is like having problems or anything. Like some of them are really just, most of them actually are feel very in love and very, wanting, but just want the best. They don't want just like an average relationship. They want the best. So they think that everything is actually pretty great. They just want to optimize it. But then when we go in and we start analyzing the different aspects that make up who you are, each individual is like, oh my God, I didn't even know this about myself, much less my partner, right? So it's mastering the art of loving yourself and therefore loving another because you're full. And that's what's so beautiful about it, when we really break down who you be at your core and who your partner is at their core. And you realize, oh, these things that I was so annoyed with them about actually is their superpower and their essence. So it completely shifts your whole perspective and appreciation for who this person is in front of you, which creates even more depth and more intimacy, right? And it's just so beautiful.
Oh, that's so good. I love this game. So fun. I think that's so but that's really just one part of your work in the world,
Yeah.
the relationship piece. So I think that's what's so cool, is that you've taken all of your, and I love when people do this, I think this is part of this kind of soul-centered CEO model that I talk about all the time, is like bringing together all of the things that you are most fired up about, the most inspired by, the most skilled and gifted at, right?
Yeah.
Along with all of your experience, and you've put that together in a way that serves the world in your highest, with the highest level of service. And to me, that's really what you're doing with all of these parts and pieces of you. You've brought them together in a way and packaged them, if you will, in a way that gives people the opportunity to work with you and be in your magic and all the good stuff. And I know that, so the relationship piece obviously is a huge body of your work. And then I know that you have this other beautiful offering that I'm fascinated by. And it really is a combination of you and your sweet friend, Erin, your gifts and talents that have come together, and kind of what you guys call this intuitive soul art experience. Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because it feels like
I would love to.
And deeply magical. And unlike anything I've heard, like I've not heard of anyone else doing in this way. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Thank you. It's quite magical. It is. So yes, Erin and I have joined forces as business partners, of course, and amazing friends before that. But basically it came about so organically because, in one part of my work is I'm an intuitive healer, and I read energy, and I do a lot of work with the chakra system. So reading through people's energy and helping them heal energetically, I'm clairvoyant, so I can see the energy field, literally what is happening in the energy, signs, symbols, intuitive messages that are channeled, what the energy looks like, how to clear it, things like this. And that's part of what I do in my private work. And so I did one of these sessions with Erin, and it was so profound for her. And we thought, oh my gosh, with her art and being an intuitive artist who is a channel via how she paints and creates in the world, how could we bring these two together to bring healing to the world? So we came up with intuitive soul art, which is a combination of me essentially looking at someone's soul's energy, their energetic blueprint, seeing exactly what is there, the magic they possess, their greatest gifting, their superpowers, their innate channeled messages of how they are meant to shine in this world, and how their unique energy looks like, literally in physical form.
Right.
And I channel all of this into a report for Erin, and she then, assimilates everything from this report and then channels her aspect too into a physical piece of art for this client to literally see every day the reflection of their energetic blueprint, their soul's energy. Yeah. And it's like, what better of a meditation, what better of a power inducing
visual.
essence, visual, exactly, other than to see your energy in front of you, the power of that. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Mhm.
And magic, quite literally, it's never something we could have, thought up. It just really came about so beautifully. And it's been such a blessing so far to the people who have been able to experience it. And we feel so blessed.
It's so beautiful. I think that the things or the services, like services is not, it's not even the right word because there isn't really a word for it, but
Yeah.
almost like gifting, the gift that you're able to create when you just allow those little inklings and divine downloads to come in, those divine
Yeah.
inspirations. I think those are the most beautiful offerings that we can create in the world, is when
Yes.
things you could never really put together in your mind, like a rational, logical strategy for your business plan.
Right.
Not like that. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
this has to come through. And what a beautiful collaboration you guys have put together to
Yes.
make that happen. I think that's so, so fabulous. And I've seen some of the work and it's amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And
Thank
just the energy, the emotion really that people feel when they see their piece, it's like they're
you.
just so moved, right?
That's the part that's so amazing is it's like it's soul recognition. They are
Yeah.
looking at their soul's energy and
Yeah.
it brings people to tears. I mean, it creates this very intense emotional reaction because
Right.
it's you basically seeing your energetic essence in
Right.
physical form, and it recognizes it. It's overwhelming, in the best way, which is
Best
just
way.
so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool. So I know that you've got one more piece kind of to well, you've got multiple pieces. I'm sure there's even a million other things, but for the purpose of this particular recording, because we can always come back and do more, but
Yeah.
I'd love to hear kind of what your vision or your big plan, if you will, for 2022. Like, what are you seeing for you would be the highest next piece of work or next kind of containers and things that you're putting together that you see for yourself in 2022?
Yes, thank you. I am so excited about all the things that are coming for
Feels
2022.
really good, right? Like this next
Yes,
year, I think is going to be
it
amazing.
does. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, yes, I feel that big time.
Mhm.
I am the person that loves the depth of connection. I love helping people transform, right, through the power of their energy and activation of their spiritual gifting and their energetics, their blueprint
Right.
into their human design, their gene keys, their spiritual gifting, and really opening that up. And
Mhm.
so I've created a mastermind for that, and that we're going to be launching soon, called Seen.
Mhm.
And it's essentially allowing you to see the potency of yourself and your power so the world can see it, right? So it's very custom tailored, even though it's a mastermind, it's a group, it's a group mastermind, it's still very in-depth level and personalized attention from me, going deep into you and your essence, and then having that container of, that very intimate container of everyone else being able to see you and hold that space for you to come alive greater than you ever have before, and
Beautiful.
bringing that to the world to be seen,
Mm.
because we need the change makers to really be alive and lit up more than ever now.
Now more than ever, we need
Yeah.
everybody like boots on the ground, right? Like
Yeah.
wings out, here we go.
Yeah. Totally.
Time. Yeah, what a
Totally.
beautiful opportunity. It's so interesting that it's seen. For me, one of the core values and the creation behind the CEO Collective, which you're now part of, which we're so excited
Yeah.
to have you,
Thank
is
you.
is just that. It's like I want everyone to feel seen and known and loved and connected and supported, right?
Yes.
I think that
Mhm.
especially during these wild times that we're in, it's so important to feel connected and part of a community, right? And I love that you're creating one as well for
Thank
that.
you.
It's so beautiful. So with that, I am curious, as we kind of start to wrap up, are there any bits or thoughts that you would like to share with listeners around maybe what they could do either energetically or anything in the next few weeks, as we kind of close out 2021 and step into 2022? What would be some things that they might want to keep in mind? Because I know, and we were chatting a little bit before we started recording, how powerful this month is.
Yes.
It's amazing what energy is happening right now on the planet. So much light and so much coming in. Is there anything you'd like to share that they might be able to take away as something that would be of high benefit for them?
Yes, I would totally invite the listeners to get hot with yourself, get honest, open, transparent, get out a piece of paper, write 4 quadrants on the paper, write,
Okay.
your purpose or calling, business, whatever resonates with you, your relationships, your spirituality, and then your health, your wellness.
Mm.
And just see these 4 aspects of your life, right? Get honest, open, transparent, go through your mind. What's going through your mind? What do you think about your relationships, about your business, about your health, about your spirituality? Unfiltered. It's just between you and you. No one else is going to see that. What does your mind say about these? What are your thoughts around each of these domains of your life?
Mm.
Then go into your heart. Maybe clear your energy, definitely clear your energy, sit in, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart if you need to. Breathe in and feel. What do you feel about your business? What do you feel about your relationships, about your spirituality, about your health? What emotions come up? What feelings are present in your body? What do
Mm.
you feel emotionally about each of those domains? And
Mhm.
then go into the body and see, okay, where are you feeling sensation? What clues is that giving you? Become really present. And then let's bridge that gap between where you are right now versus where you want to be. And
Mhm.
then kind of take an inventory. How close are you to that? And what is one thing, even if it's just one thing you can do right now for the end of the year to get you one step closer to where you want to be, to bridge that gap, and just make that commitment to yourself about one thing in each of those 4 domains, and
Mhm.
just keep that commitment to yourself to bring into the new year. I
Beautiful.
think, you can do this anytime, but what a beautiful time as we're entering, we're closing out the actual year, going into a new year. What better of a time to just use this energy, this propelling energy, to
Mm.
really get hot with what you really want and what you really desire so you can have that.
In 2022 and beyond. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm doing that. We can all take that one
Yay.
piece of advice as a takeaway from this, and what a beautiful experience to think about. Yeah, how we can just make even small shifts,
Yeah.
small things, small behavior changes over a period of time will get us closer and closer to that is what we desire. So we can all do that. I love it. Thank you so much for that. I'm so excited for all that is to come in the new year and
Me too.
beyond, and can't wait to see all of the magic that you're creating in the world and see that unfold. Obviously, we will drop all the links to all the things, how to contact you and how to stay in touch, how to follow you and be part of your world and whatever you are creating.
Thank you
For
so
all of
much.
those that are listening, they can be part of your world in whatever way they feel called, which would be lovely. So thank you again for your time today. Such a blessing. And again, such an honor to have you with us on the journey for the 2022 Soul Centered CEO Collective. And we hope you all that are listening will tune in next week for another episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show.
Thank you so much, Haley. I appreciate you.
Thank you.